Hey everyone, it's CJ, and welcome to another episode of Objection Celebrity Court Chatter. We have a really good show for y'all today. It's unscripted and unhinged, and we have our lovely co-host, our very own Miss Leanne Newton. Leanne, how are you this morning?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Did you get some sleep? It's crazy, huh? I was like, when I saw your post this morning about how long the motion to quash, I was like, is all my live commentary on the side? But
Oh, I know.
it was powerful. If you guys have not checked out Leanne's Motion to Quash live reading, it was really powerful. It's 3 hours long, but it was worth it. Don't think it's over. There's a little blackout for a second, but if you just fast forward, hey
There is,
girly, go
sorry, I was
ahead.
going to say, I've just recorded just a plain, straightforward run through. So if people just want to hear the motion to quash being read and none of the other stuff, all as entertaining as that was, um, a few people are like, well, we can't sit for 3.5 hours, which is fair. So I've just done a recording now, which will be uploaded soon. It's only 45 minutes long, so it's just the motion to quash and the request for a protective order.
In your lovely British voice, I'm gonna listen to it again, even though I've already heard it and I read it. Like, I
Thank
love
you.
it. I love it because you know how they always tell you to record books and stuff, audiobooks.
Yeah, yeah, they
Um,
do.
I appreciate everyone for stopping by this morning. We are going to be going over the Kevin Costner case. There's been some new updates on that. I know me and Leanne and Laura was actually on that show. We did a little bit of a recap, but there's been an amended complaint filed by her with some text messages since then. This is Devin LaBelle, who is the stunt performer in his movie Horizon. And the show's called Unscripted and Unhinged because we're also going over Blake Lively's unhinged actions to subpoena creators and the update on that. MSM has picked it up last night on live with Leanne. Variety broke the news, so it's the first big MSM. Daily Mail has been on it, and I consider them MSM. But Variety, it was a big deal that they put out that article. So we're not going to read through that whole thing, but we'll look at it, the little tidbits, especially the part about Elaine, Amber Heard's lawyer. And just a couple hours ago, it broke on X that Pop Daily or something had gotten subpoenaed. So I'm going to look at that as well. And yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and get into it. Oh, thank you, Dee Dee. We enjoy you guys being here in the morning. We know it's early, but um, it's a good morning show. This was me and Leanne's dream, huh, Leanne? We're like, we should do a
Yeah,
morning show.
yeah.
We talked about it for so long and now it's happening. And this is I put up a content calendar. So this is day three of sticking to the content calendar and the morning stream. So I hope you guys enjoy it. So just a little recap on the Kevin Costner while I pull up this tab. Um, I'm still having trouble like you pulling up the first tabs. So I said tab. After that I could just switch over, but okay, here we go.
Oh, don't forget to put your disclaimer at the bottom as well.
I
Oh,
have
you
the
have,
disclaimer
yeah.
on this time. I put it on now just before the show. Before I would be like, "Oh, let me start the show with like the clear, thumbnail and then I'll go in. Hey, Khaleesi. Uh where is it Kenny who listens in her pocket, which she says she'll be listening Khaleesi, but I'm like, who's the one that always puts us in her pocket at work? I love that. Okay, hold on. Let me pull it up. Which one is it? Okay, I think it's I'm just oh here we go. All right, can you guys see that one? Yeah, okay. So this is the complaint, but I'm just going to go over this the part, that's relevant where she's basically saying what had happened. Um so originally the scene, so this is for his movie Horizon, right? It's a part 1 has already come out. Part 2 is supposed to come out, but I don't know if they're not putting it out because of this drama, kind of like It Ends With Us Never Saw the Light of Day, part 2. So I don't know if Horizon Part 2 is gonna, see the light of day or not, but they've already filmed Part 3, and then they're in the middle of filming Part 4. So I don't know how this is gonna fare for the whole Horizon franchise. But it says that the lead actress, Miss Hunt, was scheduled to be present for a scene per the call sheet, which is typically received the day before the shooting and does not consist of the full script. All cast and crew had been present for the day. So this is allegedly also, this is Devon's story. Miss Hunt arrived for her shot as scheduled on May 2nd, and the script only called for Juliet, her character, to mouth the word no. However, when Miss Hunt arrived, she learned that the director, Kevin Costner, had requested that additional scenes be shot with a different male actor, Mr. Ivins, who had been cast pre production. In these new scenes, Mr. Ivins was to climb on top of her, violently raking up her skirt, and he was Costner was presented on the set specifically added this who was present on the set specifically added this scene, which varied from the scene filmed the day before, which had not involved pulling up the actor's skirt. Moreover, this revised scene is not specified in the assigned call sheet for that day. But it's weird because she says the call sheet did not have the script appear, that it didn't include the script, so it wouldn't include the scene. I don't know. That was weird to me. The only scenes specified on the call sheet were the previously stated innocuous scenes where Juliet rifles through the dresser, and a second scene where Sig interacts with the character Juliet. No physical action is outlined on the call sheet. There is no close set specified, and there was no mention of Mr. Ivins, Burke, the character Burke, interacting with the Juliet character at any point. Crucially, no arrangements were made for Miss Shaney or other intimacy coordinators to be present during filming. So Mr. Ivins is characterized as a killer in the film, standing 6 feet tall. Um, Extensive combat stunt and acting training makes Mr. Ivins a presence to be reckoned with, and they cite, his IMDb or his website. Due to the ad hoc and violent nature of the sudden script change, along with the failure to secure a contractually required intimacy coordinator, Miss Hunt became visibly upset and walked off the set, refusing to do the scene. So she is probably going to be a witness in the trial as far as if this happened or not, because it seems like Costner's camp is denying that that was the reason that she wasn't available for the scene. They're saying that they didn't want to do the scene with her. They were going to do it with the stunt double. Like it was already pre planned that way. That's what Costner's side is saying. But she's saying that no, that Miss Hunt was on set and then she walked off. So this is when the stunt double, who's the one suing Miss Labella, um, it says that she was completely unaware that that had happened. So following Miss Hunt's departure from the set, Costner asked her to just stand in to just line up the shot. Miss Labella was not a stand-in performer, and what defendant Costner requested of her was not within the scope of what she does as a stunt double. Nevertheless, and in complete ignorance of the nature of the shot, she agreed to help. Miss Labella was not informed that Miss Hunt had refused to do the scene and had walked off the set. Moreover, the call sheet did not specify what the revised shot would consist of, or nor did any instruction issue from the production crew that Miss Labella's involvement in the impromptu shot would go beyond just standing in a standard body double. So she was not warned or prepared for Mr. Ivins to perform or engage in any action on top of her, and first learned that Ivins would mount her and violently pull her skirt up while he was already on top of her doing so. Defendant Costner was fully in charge of directing the action. The video village where the monitors were located for production and other essential crew to view the action being filmed were located about 20 to 30 feet from where Miss Labella was being filmed. Defendant Costner went back and forth, being at one moment in close proximity to the actual filming site and in another stationed at the monitors in the video village where he could view the shot. Throughout the shooting on May 2nd involving Miss Labella, defendant Costner was very hands-on and was either involved in or fully aware of every single thing going on, including coming close to the actors, experimenting with different angles of filming and takes, and checking the monitors. So this stood out to me, the experiment with different angles of filming, because according to her, she's saying that he dragged it on and on and on because he wanted like different shots of the same thing. But then later she says that she had no time to like speak up or say anything. But in my head, I was thinking, well, if he did it a bunch of times, if it was like one time and she's just like surprised by it, but if she kept doing it a bunch of times, wasn't there time then for her to be like, look, I'm not going to do this a bunch of times and then just say what, that she was uncomfortable with it. Um, as filming began, Miss LaBella lay down in the wagon as defendant Costner instructed. He approached her and directed that she hang her boots out of the wagon as the camera team and crew continued to test out and frame their shots. The camera was to broadcast the filming to the monitors located in the video village where the director and producers watched. Normally, this would have sufficed as Miss LaBella standing in for the lighting or the camera or whatever was needed. But then, without proper notice, consent, preparation, or appropriate safeguard, such as the intimacy coordinator being called in, defendant Costner directed Mr. Ivins to repeatedly perform a violent simulated rape on Miss LaBella. Now, Costner's camp later argues that this is not nudity or a simulated sex scene as defined, I guess, by whatever defines it, but it seems like it could be because it's simulated, you know, that
Mm.
he's trying to take advantage of her. So I don't know. That's a difference in opinion there. But it says, um, as directed by Costner, this unscripted, unrehearsed scene consisted of him mounting her, um, miming unbuttoning his pants and using his body and arms forcibly pinning her down. He violently rustles Miss Labella's skirt up as if he's trying to penetrate her against her will. So she quotes this from SAG-AFTRA that a performer's performance or depiction in a scene requiring nudity or simulated sex acts is conditioned on their prior written consent. So she thinks she's saying that it's simulated sex, which should take the form of a rider attached to their contract. So she's saying that um, that wasn't done. Notably, the simulated rape actions Miss LaBella was subjected to were added that same day. In fact, Mr. Costner had been working with a stand-in actress to conceptualize and choreograph Mr. Ivan's actions for the shot until moments before Miss LaBella stepped on set. So it seems like there was another stand-in that was already doing it, working with a stand-in actress.
Yeah, does sound
So
like it, doesn't it?
yeah, it sounds like there's another actress that's in the mix. So it's probably going to be the main actress, Miss Hunt, maybe this one. Which to me is like if he was already working with another stand-in actress, why did they get her to do it? In complete contrast, the previous day scene was thoroughly choreographed and rehearsed between the stunt coordinator and Miss LaBella. So this is Mr. Allen, the stunt coordinator, which we're going to see text messages between them. So she goes on to tell the story of how this is when an impromptu scene. She cites SAG-AFTRA.
Mm.
Further increasing confusion and stress for Miss LaBella, the scene had no clear direction of when it began or ended. He just, I guess, consistently kept um, having her redo it and redo it and redo it. The action was implied as the crew checked the lenses and the cameras as Mr. Ivins lay on top of her. After the action had already begun, there was no time or space to process or reject the direction that was given. But see, this is where I'm like, what do you mean there was no time to reject the direction? Right? Like, was it just because the cameras were on and she didn't wanna mess up the shot, like, by speaking out because it was, like, recording and stuff, so she was just trying to, like, get through it, and then she was like, "Okay, is this almost done?" type of thing? Like, did she freeze up? That's what I'm wondering, because she's saying that she
Mm.
couldn't reject the direction. Um, okay, so let me look at the chat real quick, and Leanne, what do you think so far? Was she
It's a minefield. What goes on in Hollywood? I
Yeah,
mean, honestly.
and, like, I don't know, it's giving, like it is giving It Ends With Us, but, like, hers is a little bit more credible, it seems like, because once you see the text message, you'll see that she, like, right away said something,
Yeah.
and we never saw any text messages from Blake, um, so, I don't know, to me, I'm still undecided, obviously, because it's like, you know, you I'm gonna show you guys the rest of the evidence and what his team is saying, um, but based on the text messages, I wanna say that I really do feel like, this her claim has legs. The only 2 parts that are, like, a little shaky to me were this part where she says, "I couldn't speak up, I couldn't say nothing." Because to me, I'm like, well, if it just kept going, like, the only thing I can think of is she froze up,
Mm.
she didn't wanna mess up the scene, or, and then the second part was, the how there was another actress there and why, that actress, like, it just seemed weird that they would use her and it wasn't previously like scheduled. Like, why was she on the set and stuff? So there's a couple intimacy coordinator or not. There was no intimacy coordinator there. So I don't know. The intimacy coordinator, I feel like should just be on set standard. You know what I mean? Like after all this
Mm.
is happening, should just be standard part of the crew. It probably could get expensive though, right?
Yeah,
Didn't
yeah,
she also have previous suits? Yeah, so Costner's camp is saying that she was how do you say that word? Litigious? Litigious? Is it litigious?
litigious. Yeah,
Lit
litigious.
and was it Cassidy? I don't know who's one of the other creators did a deep dive into it. But I couldn't find anything myself, and that was part of my homework that I was supposed to do last time when we were all on together. Um,
Mm.
but there was a creator who did a deep dive that did find some of the lawsuits. Um, Laura, I still can't wrap my brain around this. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So, let me get into the text messages real quick. So I'll link the doc because this is actually not even the amended one. I couldn't find the amended one, but I'm gonna link both this one and her recent because just a couple weeks ago, like 3 weeks ago, she filed an amended one, which is where she included the text messages. And this is what I was thinking about. Blake, where she says, "Oh, you know, like how a lot of people are saying, well, like, did she text Taylor? Did she text anybody else?" Like, she never included text messages, and that's why this one is more believable because she did include the text messages. So, let's just go over these text messages real quick. So this is Celeste, the intimacy coordinator. Can you guys see the? Let me see if you can see them. Okay, yeah, okay. 11 suits. She had 11 suits, Khaleesi? What? Okay, well, I mean, I don't know. That's what I mean, their camp was saying is Hollywood imploding right in front of us. And that's what we're asking is like, was this something that was always being done behind the scenes type of thing where actresses just kind of put up with it because that was like the name of the game?
I think it
Or
was that there was a bit of reputation, wasn't there? And not just actresses, there were some male actors too. You've got to remember people like Brendan Fraser.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Brandon Fraser was one that got
Mm.
but on set, I'm trying to think. There's a creator I watched, Pam Entertainment. She was saying that I forget what movie it was where one of the actresses is no longer going to be in it, and she was speculating um, that it was perhaps like something like this where there was like sex scenes written in, and then she didn't want to do them or whatever. Uh,
Mm.
so that's what I was wondering, like what like I don't know, like is it just the fear of not being able to work in Hollywood again that makes you not say no, like I don't know. I guess I've never been in Hollywood and like that atmosphere, but look at what happened to, like you said, Brandon Fraser. He got blackballed from the industry, right? For a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, for years and years and years. And then he made a comeback and won an Oscar. So he should as well. That was a great film.
Yeah, she's saying scripts can change at any point. And see, that's where like I kind of like also lean towards where it's like there's creative control of the director where, improvising and stuff. But that's why I'm like, maybe it should just be standard to have intimacy coordinators on set at all times for any scene because you never know when it can like blur
Yeah,
over into it says our footage is submitted yet from the other side. Um, I don't think they've responded yet. Costner, I don't think that he has a filing responding yet.
no,
And I don't know how long he has to respond. They might be in settlement talks. I don't know. The actress had previous SH suits. I'm not sure about Costner. Costner has had a couple of lawsuits against him. I just found out that Stephen Baldwin sued him. So I think it was like over some money stuff though. But yeah, I was like, dang, he's had problems for a while. Yeah, absolutely
yeah,
shocking what happened to him. Okay, so let's get into these text messages, and you guys can let me know if, um, if this strengthens her case. For me, it did. It says, "Hi Celeste, it's Devin LaBelle. Hi Devin, how are you doing? I wanted to discuss yesterday's abomination when we both have a chance. Are you around today?" So this was immediately the next day. And look at the date, May 3rd. I think we talked about this. I was like, what's going on with stuff happening around May? Because this is exactly 2023 is when Blake Lively started filming It Ends With Us, and she had her stuff. It happened that same week. So oh no, I'm so sorry to hear this, Devin. Yes, of course, let's talk through it. Hey, Devin, how did the rest of today go? Hey, can I catch you up? Did you get anywhere on your end? Can I call you in 10 minutes? Yeah, no problem. So she says, one, why was there no intimacy coordinator? Two, why was a stunt double doing this non stunt work, especially given the sensitivity of it? Three, why wasn't there any preparation going into the scene? Four, why wasn't there any preparation in the wardrobe department to prevent the Juliet double from being exposed? Because she was saying that her knickers, she was wearing like those old school, like in westerns, they wear like those old school knickers.
Like bloomer type things.
Yeah, bloomers.
Yeah.
I was using knickers. It's British word now. Knickers.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a British word, but those knickers are not British.
I was trying to go British. Okay, bloomer. Thanks for correcting me. Okay, so she was wearing these bloomers and they were like hiking up, and she was like, uncomfortable that, it wasn't, the wardrobe wasn't appropriate for that scene. Um, why was sensitive and explicit action commanded when it wasn't in the script? Why did the rehearsal, or six, why did the rehearsal not have a beginning, middle, or end? Seven, why wasn't it a closed set? So here we're seeing some of the same stuff Blake was talking about, the closed set, all that stuff. Eight, how did lining up a shot turn into a rape sequence? Nine, why was a man from the camera department directing this non-scripted action? 10, why was this being recorded like a formal rehearsal but not treated like a formal rehearsal? People not being quiet, no calling of action or cut or open set and open set. 11, why was I expected to speak up? I wasn't comfortable when I had no real opportunity to even be asked if I was okay with this. So here is where she's like, well, why was I expected to speak up? But I don't know, I feel like she should have spoken up. It says no real opportunity to be asked if I was okay with this. But then that's the thing that I don't understand. It might be a Hollywood thing where they just feel like they don't have a voice. And in this case, it's different than It Ends With Us, because I feel like Blake Lively was the bigger star. Even though Justin Baldoni was the director, I felt like she could have had her voice, and she's not going to be ousted out of Hollywood, right? Her husband's Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
But with this one, I feel like it's Kevin Costner, like, and this is just a measly stunt double, you know what I mean? Well, not measly, she's really talented. She's an aerialist too, which is what she's leaned into. It's like those people that do like the Zumanity shows and stuff and do like hula hoops in the air and stuff. So yeah, she's talented, but I'm just saying she's lower on the totem than Kevin Costner. So I could see why she'd be afraid to speak up, but she's basically saying, like, why was I supposed to speak up when I was never asked if I was okay? Who was directing the impromptu sensitive action? How did we end up with an exposed stunt double simulating a rape scene with unscripted explicit action and no intimacy coordinator preparations or explanations? Who is going to take responsibility for the abuse of power, negligence, and I think it cuts off there. Okay, what's going on? It's not clicking. Did I freeze up, y'all?
No, you're moving.
It's not clicking for the other page. Let me see. Oh, there we go. Or explanations on an open set. Who is going to take okay. Or ignorance on set. What will be done? And then the response was just, thank you, Devin. Okay. Just wanted to let you know I got in at 10:30 and Jeff, the line producer, had a brief chat with me. But see how this one's like cut off? Like, I don't know if this is still Celeste. With Marshall present, basically telling me that you two spoke. I'm assuming this is intimacy coordinator. And that Kevin had a long convo with Ella yesterday. This is the main actress, Ella Hunt. And basically putting the blame on Kevin, and that he needs to be brought up to the current times, and that it won't happen again, and apologized. And then she's like, thanks for the update. I'm glad Jeff came to you and apologized. So do you think it's kind of like it should have been done there once he apologized? Or is this legitimate like concern? They're blaming Kevin needs to be brought up with the times, like maybe he didn't know about intimacy coordinator. So this is a big long text. I'm not going to read all of it. It says, I think I'm really looking for above the line men to have a conversation and apologize to me. So this is again kind of like with the apology. Remember when Blake was saying, like the apology wasn't good enough when Justin Baldoni tried to apologize? Jeff gave me an
Mm.
express and brief chat, basically pinning it on Kevin. But Kevin was not the only person there. There were lots of above the line men who should have had the proper preparations in place. And a really good question is, whoever knew that this pickup shot was going to happen, they are responsible. Responsible for not having you there and not treating it with proper preparation. So she's basically saying that, um, oh, this was the quoted of her, like what her contract said. Um, so she's basically saying like more people need to apologize to her because it seems like Kevin and Jeff had already apologized to her, but she wanted the top of the lineman. Your text above is spot on and what all production should have in place. Always, absolutely. And I want to reiterate, it's not the subject matter that's a problem, as I would have still taken the job knowing this was the subject matter in action. It was the lack of preparing me for this content and the way it was played out at my expense. Um, it says, from what I can tell by interviewing those I've spoken to, no one knew this was going to happen. So they thought she'd just be okay with it. Is it?
Yeah, it's weird.
There we go. This is the last one. Hi, Marshall Wade said he wasn't sure if they were going to use me. I am going to go home this weekend since it's been a rough week, and that's what I need. So I wanted to see if you knew about Scene 59. I haven't booked a flight yet, but I'm waiting to see timing of the wrap. And they go, I talked to Fred, haven't heard anything because everything is dependent on weather. Thank you, I appreciate it. So she's basically saying like, she didn't really want to go back, but she's like, have you heard anything? According to her, they didn't call her back, and then they didn't call her for the third movie. So, let's check the chat and see what they're after the scene, did she return back to work? So no, apparently it seems like she's taking the week off after that. Um, and then she does come back at one point, but they don't need her. She's just sitting in the trailer. If you're unable to speak up, why are you an actor? See, that's the part that gets me, is the speaking up part.
Yeah. I would
It's
imagine though, there's still like, like in people who have kind of everyday jobs, like there's a bit of authority attached to the boss or the bigger name. And I can imagine that that's the case in Hollywood as well. That yeah, you're an actress, but if you're like fairly unknown, or even if you're well known, if you're against someone who's really well connected, a bigger name, more powerful, who can cancel you in a minute, I would imagine there's a lot of intimidation and coercion that can come from that.
Yeah, and she's Supin is saying because the actor is doing knowing the job. It's like a P star doing a movie, they know what their role is. Yes, but see in that last text message, that's why I'm like I'm on the fence because the text message before this one where she's like, it's not the content, like she's basically saying I would have done the scene.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't because it was a rape scene. It's because they didn't prepare me for it and it was like going for way too long. So she felt like smothered. I mean, I don't know. I was just like trying to play it out in my head, like just having this big tall man like on top of you that you're like, ugh, and then you weren't prepared, and you're like, okay, well, I'll just take one for the team real quick and like just get it over with, right? But then
Yeah.
it just keeps going. So I don't know. That part to me was like maybe she just felt like at that point she couldn't speak up. That's just my train of thinking that maybe she didn't want to ruin the shot. Because then if she ruined the shot, was she was gonna have to do it all over again? Like, I don't know.
No, that's true.
There should
I
be
mean,
other witnesses and videos, and that's what the Costner team is saying is that she gave a thumbs up sign to the camera at one point, before starting, like, "Are you ready?" And but did they tell her what it was? So I don't know. We're gonna have to see for, his response to see more evidence, but when she basically filed the amended complaint, um hold on, this is, I believe, her amended where is it? Um, let me let me find that tab real quick for y'all. Here we go. Okay, so when he filed the amended complaint, um, and yeah, so here we go. It says Kevin Costner is fighting back against the lawsuit filed by stuntwoman Devin Labella, who alleged that she was made to perform violent, unscripted rape scenes on the set of Horizon: An American Saga, Chapter 2, without her consent. So his attorney was Marty Singer, and this is what he said. Miss Labella was doing a rehearsal. Oh, I think I quoted this. Hold on, I have a better, I have this image right here. He told the Post in a statement, Miss Labella was doing a rehearsal on an insert shot. So is this a camera? What is an insert shot? Is that like a movie term, like a insert shot, like maybe like a stand-in term for a scripted scene? So they're doubling down that it was scripted. There was no intimacy or anything sexual in the shot. But see, that's the thing. It's like what they consider. I mean, do you guys consider that sexual if it's a like he's insinuating like rape, like he's on top of her unbuttoning his pants? I don't know. I do. I consider that simulated, right?
Yeah.
But they're saying there was nothing sexual. There was tugging on a dress while she was fully clothed in the dress with long bloomers. Oh, see, you were right. It is bloomers.
Of course I'm right about I understand my underwear.
Is knickers just underwear?
Knickers is like, I guess you look over there, I use panties and things like that,
Oh,
or
okay.
I don't know, because you call what we call trousers, you call them pants. But
Yeah.
like if we don't say, well, I'm putting on my pants, because over here people will be like, oh, you're putting on your knickers or your boxers. Like pants is underwear. So it gets confusing. But no, I think we call them knickers or pants or boxers, briefs, that kind of thing. But over there, I think I don't know. What do you call knickers?
Knickers, we call them underwear or panties,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But I like, the phrase, it's, "Don't get your knickers in a bunch."
Oh
Just
yeah,
don't
don't get. Well, we say don't get your panties in a bunch, but yeah, don't get your knickers twisted and things. Yeah, they're all.
I lo so bloomers are like the old-timey knickers are bloomers, so she had the correct verbiage. This is why we have our resident, panty knowledge, from Leanne.
The terminology. We spent far too long then on pants, by the way. Just putting that out there.
Oh my gosh, okay. Numerous witnesses have contradicted Miss Labella's meritless claims. She herself texted her supervisor after she wrapped, stating, "Thank you for these wonderful weeks." So there's other text messages, and see, this is why context is important because remember, we all believed Blake's narrative when her stuff was coming out. At least Devin did pull out those text messages, and for me, those first two were compelling because she right away makes these points, which in my head made sense, right? Like she's saying, why was this unscripted? Why was there no ending? Why was it not a close set? To me,
Yeah,
those made sense. Um,
I
as
think that should have been, scripted, maybe with an intimacy coordinator and a close set. I can see why these things are requested. It's just when I look at what was going on with the It Ends With Us movie, they don't apply. They just don't. Like for the scenes as they are described, and in fairness, they shut down they did close the birth scene set, and there was an intimacy coordinator, but I don't know. Even with all that, you still end up with these kind of allegations. So that's where I get really confused. Like, well, we've adhered to all the industry standards. What more could we have done?
Yeah, and so it continues to say, let me pull it up here because this is where she's saying that she was left alone and like it was like cold and alone. Or I don't know, maybe she doesn't say cold. Um, what happened to me on that set was a reckless violation, a breach of consent and basic workplace safety. I was told to lie down, and without warning or rehearsal, another actor was just brought in to simulate a rape on top of me. My undergarments were exposed. I was left alone afterwards, overwhelmed and in shock. So I don't know, did they just leave her laying there and then just picked up their video cameras and stuff? I don't know. Compliance under pressure is not consent. But see, this is under pressure. What was the pressure to film the
Mm.
scene? Did they like pressure her and like you have to do it, keep going? consent cannot be given after the harm has already begun. So she's basically saying like she didn't speak up because her consent had already been taken away from her because it should have been asked of her before it started, which I don't know how I feel about that one. Once the line is crossed, there's no real choice left to make. I spoke up immediately, and for that, I was met. So for her, speaking up immediately was telling the intimacy coordinator the next day. And for that, I was met with silence, deflection, and efforts to discredit me, which, if you read those text messages, it's true. They're like, oh, well, Kevin just needs to get with the times and, blah, blah, blah. This case is not just about what happened to me, it's about a broken system. So this is where we get into Hollywood that protects those in power and punishes those who speak out. It's about demanding change, not just for me, but for everyone who deserves to work in safety and dignity. What happened on the set was wrong. Let it be known. I stood up, I told the truth, and I will never apologize for demanding the bare minimum to be treated like a human being at work. So this is her. This is Devin Labella.
Yeah.
And then the recent filing included the text message exchange between them. And yeah, so it's ongoing. He's got a reply. Here's like pictures of the set here of what it looked like. It's like an old-timey movie. So she was the lead stunt double, and then she's claiming damages because she wasn't hired to do the third. But see, do you think that's going to be hard legally, Leanne? Because there was no guarantee that she was gonna there was nothing in the contract that she was gonna film Horizon 3.
No.
You know what I mean? So how was that damages if it's up to them whether they want to rehire a stunt coordinator or not? That's where I think it's gonna get tricky for her with the
Well,
damages on that part.
have we seen? Because I personally haven't seen, but is there a contract? Is there a contract to look at?
I haven't seen the amended complaint. She might have attached it to that one, but the original complaint didn't. Thanks, Carm. You showed up, saw you on live. Appreciate your support, Carm.
Because the reason I'm sort of asking is because sometimes in these movie things you get options to come in, like where it's kind of written in that you're going to be doing this sequel, this sequel, this sequel, and then decisions are made on whether the option is picked up or not by the film studios. But I mean, sometimes there can be something else. I would imagine, like well, if we do, because it's not given that they're gonna do a sequel. Some films they know sequels are going to be coming years
Well,
in
on this
advance, like
one,
the
they
Harry Potter
were.
ones.
On this one, they knew that he had already written through 4. Like the Horizon lore itself is crazy. He literally mortgaged his whole home and lost his wife just to film it. But no, I think in this one they did know that it was optioned for, all four movies. This was like
But
his magnus opus, which is crazy because even before this drama, the first one didn't do well. Like he thought it was going to do well, but there's not a market for westerns, I feel like.
but is there but still, even if they know it's sequels, what is there to say that she's definitely going to be, she's guaranteed a role? Because the movies always recast people for various reasons. So I don't know. I think she's going to have a hard time unless she's got something formal in writing to say that she will be in all movies going forward, all sequels going forward. I can't see that she can sort of make that connection that she's lost something as a result. But I'm sure she'll try. I would recommend, I would tell her to try, because it will be down to. I'm guessing this will be a jury.
Yeah, if it doesn't settle before then, I'm thinking that's what'll happen. But I'm interested in Kevin Costner's response because they're saying Marty Singer is similar to Brian Friedman, or they compare Brian Friedman to Marty Singer, and he's like a really tough lawyer. He's like the best that Hollywood has. He's a Hollywood lawyer, so I'm interested.
Wasn't he Brian Friedman's kind of like he was kind of like a bit of an adage, like a mentor or something. I read.
Like to him.
Hmm.
So I'm interested to see like his filing and on all that stuff. I just got a subscription to Trello late last night because remember we were on that stream late, and then I streamed my crime channel that has the filing. So I'll be able to like look through the amended one this week and stuff, and maybe do another update on it. I had already just scheduled this one, and I didn't have time to go through all the interesting thing to say that Kevin needs to get with the times. Yeah. I'm thinking
Mm.
that means like with intimacy coordinators because it's a new thing. And I know she cited SAG AFTRA's contract, but from what I read about the It Ends With Us lawsuit, um, when I dug deep into the SAG, it's always just recommended, not required. So that's another thing.
Yeah.
It's not like illegal to not have one, right?
But if the actress has requested it, it should be provided.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that part. So if an actress requests it,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. It was like at one point when I mean, but again, it was like she's saying I was in too deep. Like she couldn't move. She froze up. Because I was like, why couldn't she just like, prop herself up on her elbows and be like, oh, wait, hold on, cut, wait, like,
I need
can
to sneeze.
I need to
I'm
sneeze,
about to fart. Anything.
right? I gotta go potty. All these cases are driving the entertainment industry to AI. And I mean, it could be because, then they can script it however they want it. Now you have um, a lot of the times where, there was that show that I'm telling you about with the content creator Pam Entertainment. She made really good points about she's gonna be maybe coming on either tomorrow or Friday, but she made really good points about nudity. Like, do you guys think that we're like putting too much nudity in like film and TV to where it's like over the top? Because that's what she was talking about. How like there's some like sometimes you're watching a show and the nudity isn't needed, but it's just added. Like how there's so much gratuitous nudity in television and film now, which I thought
Yeah.
was like compelling because there's a show about the Lakers, the basketball team out here, and it's like a documentary style show on HBO. It's called Winning Time. Um, and I remember watching it and I was like, why is there so much nudity? Like I wanted it to just be about like the basketball and like the, like the different lives of the characters. And I'm like, I guess basketball players do it a bunch, but it was just like over the top. And so it made it hard to watch. Like I really liked the show, but it was just like, oh my God, not again. And it's HBO, so it like shows everything. So it's like you're sitting there watching it with friends and you're like awkward, like
Yeah, I felt like that about Game of Thrones as well, especially the early series as well. It was like every 2 minutes I was looking at, a media clock completely in the bath, or
it says she
Lena
was wearing
Headey.
bloomers.
She wasn't
It's
wearing blue. No, she needed to wear bloomers. But, yeah, I
it's
mean, a lot of the scenes were very, very graphic, and I was like, oh my god, is anything else? Any other part of this story, or is this what I'm watching here?
yeah, the Game of Thrones, House of Dragons didn't really, which was the sequel to Game of Thrones, or like, in the same universe. It wasn't
Yeah,
as bad, but Game of Thrones was bad. Carm says she was wearing bloomers. It's giving Lively said she was naked in the labor scene. I don't think it was about the bloomers. I think it was like they were riding up and then she was just like scared that it was gonna like show something. I mean, but bloomers are long, so I get your point, Carm, but at the
yeah,
same
bloomers go down to your knees. I mean that's a hell of a long way to ride up to show something. I can. I think that's a fair point. Um, but yes, I like the comparison to Lively.
yeah, so the lively labor scene. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it'll be interesting to see all the witnesses because she says there was a bunch of people there. So it says Kevin's got to bring his receipts. Definitely, we need to see the other side. But I am interested in seeing all her other lawsuits, so I'm gonna try and find them. But there was nothing on. I asked ChatGPT and Perplexity, and nothing came up with them. So the AI system doesn't have anything in the system. And then I tried Google and I couldn't find it. So Khaleesi, if you end up coming across, DM me on X and let me know if you come across like all her other lawsuits. Um, oh, so Carm says there is a market for westerns. I love these movies, and so did my dad. He loves westerns and Yellowstone saga. Well, yeah, Yellowstone did make a comeback. I forgot about that. So
I
I'd have to
enjoy
look.
westerns. I do.
You like them?
Oh yeah, I love that kind of. I love watching because there's such I mean, compared to the UK, and I mean this with so much love, but compared to the UK, America does not have, you know, centuries and centuries and centuries of rich history where you can see how it's kind of changed and evolved. Like our history goes back way back, and you're like, a 5-year-old child compared to us, but I find the Western like that's part of showcasing American history, and I love watching that because then you look at what life was like back then compared to now. I'm a big like Little House on the Prairie kind of buff.
kind of gal.
Yeah.
But they're so violent. Like, I've tried to watch Westerns, and they're like it leaves me so drained afterwards, like, where I'm like, "Oh my god, that was horrible," because it was a violent time, I guess, but I'm getting ate up in the chat because 'cause they're like, "There is a market for Westerns."
There is
Alright,
definitely a
y'all.
market.
I don't know why Horizon 1 didn't do well. I'm gonna have to research that as well, be more prepared for my shows. I just thought maybe, hey, it didn't do well because I feel like everything in theaters now that's like I don't know if it does well or whatever is horror movies. Like every other week, there's a new horror movie coming out. I love Brandon. Oh, Brandon Sklenar, are you talking about Mr. Backstab? Carm? I love Brandon in 1944, which sucks. He was such an ass with the lively shit. We don't stand Brandon here.
Yeah, he kind of, I think he defected. I liked him. He's not, decent looking bloke. I do say, and I will say it, there is something about him where I feel like he's just, when he talks, he's very monotonous, and I think I've compared him to having the charisma of a wet sock, but I think he could have been a really good actor. I could have really enjoyed the stuff he's in. I just feel like he basically got bought. I do. I think he got offered a bunch of stuff and threw Justin Baldoni under the bus for it.
Not Timu Thor. If you know, you know. Yes, Timu Thor. That's something that Bohemian Diva on TikTok nicknamed him Timu Thor. And then it just stuck. Yep. I love her. She's one of my favorite creators. If you guys don't follow her on TikTok, give her a follow. She's amazing. She always makes you think, and she's got really, really good takes on all of this stuff. Um, Carm says that it was the marketing that made it not succeed, and it's a bit slow build up for the sequel. Well, now the sequel was supposed to premiere in August of last year, and it never did. So I'm wondering if it was because of this lawsuit, because I'm pretty sure that she originally filed it as a doe, and then she refiled it under her name. So that's why it's like, coming up recently, which is when we saw it. But it's against Horizon, the film. It's against Kevin Costner, and then it says does 1 through 10, which I believe is like the top linemen that she's referring to that should have, spoken up. So I don't know. We're gonna keep an eye on that, guys. She actually did amend it to include text messages. So she tried to bring the receipts, which to me it was compelling when I first read it. I remember me, Leanne, and Laura were in it, and I was like, oh, I don't know if this is legit or not. Remember, I was like super skeptical.
Yeah,
Um, but those I'm leaning a little bit more towards like she might have a point because of the text messages, but then I still have like those pending questions, so I'm not sure. It is giving Blake Lively a little bit where I feel like why didn't she speak up? But in her case, once again, it's Kevin Costner. Like he's as big A list as you can get.
yeah.
Justin Baldoni, as much as I love him, is not that.
And
Um,
I think when we look at these things as well, I mean, you have to be very, very open minded here. From a legal perspective, there is a lot of evidence to get. It's going to take a long time, and whole discovery process and everything. So it's easy to jump to a conclusion early on. A lot of people did do that though with when the first amended complaint of Justin Baldoni came out because the evidence it was baked into the complaint, which is incredibly rare and unusual. But with this, I would keep an open mind myself. Like there is evidence that supports it, but then what evidence is there that's going to rebut her claims as well? And there'll be something that they'll have to go through discovery to get. But I think once we've been through the Baldoni case, all sexual harassment claims, other than Blake Lively's, have legs because we are kind of comparing it to, oh, well,
yeah.
what's this like? Well, how does this stack up compared to Blake Lively's? And when you do that, everything's got legs.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I feel like she hurt the industry more than she helped it, because her version did not add up to what the evidence showed, right? Like, it was overly embellished. It was, and we have yet to see the birth scene video, which is one of the things, it's my Roman Empire I want to see as far as evidence, is the
Yeah.
video that they have of her wearing the undies, because they double down, but it's in the verbiage. Somebody once told me that they're like, they never say she wasn't wearing the underwear. They just said that normally actors only wear thin fabric, which is true. Normally, but they wouldn't say she was wearing the thin fabric.
No, she did say that. She
She
did
did.
say that. She did in a CRD. She said, naked apart from a tiny piece of cloth, is what she said. And in the Jed Wallace one, she says that she's naked. She doesn't even say she's got the cloth.
Oh my gosh. I'd have to read that one. I didn't know that. Carm says, this just makes me mad. I wish they would screen these people.
Yeah.
Screen the actors. It's not fair to Costner's legacy, and they apologize. They're not mind readers. They took care of it after, just like Wayfair and Baldoni did. Well, that's a fair point. It's like,
Yeah.
if she didn't say anything or speak up, was that consent by not speaking up? It's just such a hard thing, because I can also understand where she would have just frozen up, like, what's happening? Like, if it just all happened so fast, like sometimes where like you think like you could say something, and then like you don't, and then later, like, you're replaying it Monday morning quarterback, and you're like, oh, I should have said this, but in the moment you were just like frozen, like, because it all happened so fast.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Oh, thank you, DFJ. See you at BK hearing. DFJ, do you want to come on? Because I'm thinking of live streaming it in an hour, just to have a support system for everybody watching it, and then just leaving the chat up. You don't necessarily have to talk, but I was thinking about just live streaming it for people if they wanted to have a chat for support or something. Let me know. Me and DFJ are working on the Brian Koberger. Today's his sentencing. And did you ever follow that trial, Leanne?
No, I did not. But I hear he come to a plea deal to avoid death sentence.
Yeah, it was such a horrifying thing, and that's why I'm like, I don't know, I felt like I wanted to give emotional support to, like, the people who went through it, which is obviously, the families went through the most, but,
Mm.
a lot of us who followed, especially, like, the web sleuths and stuff, like, it's a lot, like, for it to finally be over and stuff, because it took up a lot, like, a large portion of our lives, like how we were with, Baldoni and, Blake. Like, I know it's gonna be so emotional when it's over, the Blake and Baldoni stuff, because of all the work we put into it and all that stuff, you know? Like, we wanna see
Mm.
justice be done. So, yeah, it's a pretty, horrible case. I'm not sure, definitely would wanna see more information. Khaleesi wants to see more, yeah. Well, we're gonna be keeping y'all updated on that and see what happens, but, I did say on the last stream, member, that I felt bad for Kevin, that, like, he lost his wife, he lost his house, and now his movie's tainted, like, the man can't catch a break. But, I mean, if he really was just being, like, because is she insinuating that they were doing it, like, to get off, like Blake was? Or
I
was
don't
she
know.
insinuating that, because that's what Blake insinuated, like, Baldoni brought in all these people for her birth scene to get off or something.
Oh no! Oh my god! Yeah, and switched everyone's phones and monitors and devices on and everything, and just live streamed it everywhere. What?
Yeah. So I don't know what she exactly is saying about Kevin, if it was, like, supposed to be, like, they wanted to, like, put her in that situation so that everybody could watch, because I'm like, obviously, they were just trying to get a shot, right?
Yeah.
The summary of it is it was an actress had a rehearsal scene that she feels went too far to the point of harassment and brought it to court. Yeah. So, I don't know, let's move on really quick, because we got about 7 minutes before we have to wrap up, but, let's move on to the Blake Lively Unhinged, unhinged part of this. Let me share the screen here. Um, Leanne had her motion to quash, so that hopefully hits the docket today, and we'll see if MSM picks it up even more. Because my theory is that once all these MTQs, and I actually posted to X today because I ran it by ChatGPT last night. I sent it to Leanne because I was like, oh my God, it was so good. And I was like, is it just me? Because I'm like her friend, like, because we're besties and I'm just like gassing her up because I just think it's good. Is it just me or is it actually like that good? And so I ran it through Chat GPT and Chat's like, let her cook. I love it. I love that last line. Let her cook.
Yeah, I was
Um,
shocked. I was really pleased because I'm nervous. I am. This is like, this is a huge law firm. The scene, like, they're now now they're emailing me finally. I'm copied into, it's just me, right? And then there's 4 senior partners at Manat copied into one email just to say, oh yeah, the subpoena was for you. Oh, yes, we've had your motion. We've accepted service. By the way, we'd like to meet and confer. And it's quite daunting, even for me. But also, my it's like the biggest audience now from one of my own personal court filings.
yeah.
And I am terrified. I feel like I've got the weight of the world on me. I really do.
Yeah, and
So
like how we analyze Ezra's writings and
yeah,
Friedman, and it's like let's analyze
I
Leanne.
know. Now my own's gonna be up for critique, and it's daunting, it's terrifying. It's like I did not expect to be like dragged into the lawsuit either, like a Blake Lively and Brian Reynolds lawsuit. I didn't see that happening, but I really needed those screenshots last night you sent me from the Chat GPT. I appreciated that really.
Well, because I was like, is it just me? Like, am I just like? But I know writing. Like when a lot of people came after Stu for saying Ezra had good writing or something, but I was like, low key, she kind of did on some of them. Like, I feel like she's the best writer out of all of them. But I know people don't like to compliment Blake's side, but I was like, low key, there was some, good writing in there. But obviously now I'm gonna get canceled like Stu did. This is my first time saying it out loud, but I love like looking at the writing, and I was like, it's funny because Chat ended up with the same almost critique that I had of it, which was it was like such a good balance in each paragraph of like your little snark voice, but then backed up by like legal, standards. So sometimes it gets like too emotional where it's like you're just telling the story and it's all emotion. It's not backed up by legal facts, but yeah, yours was. And so when I ran it through and I was like, dang, so it's not just me. Like it was and it said it bordered on professional. I'm like, cause she is a professional. That's why
I
it
know,
was.
but I'm not used to. I mean, there are differences. There are definite differences, and don't forget, the UK does not really have. We don't use subpoenas nowhere near the level that America does. Like that, they're not, standard part of every court cases and things. So filing these things like a motion to quash is not something I'm actually used to doing. I'm not. I've just had to kind of apply my, well, this is what I would think. And obviously, I've been observing all of the motions that have been going on in this case as well. So, I have actually learned a lot, and doing the commentary on all these filings did prepare me a lot. So, yeah, but I mean, don't forget, she gets to respond to this, and that's like, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, and then you have to respond back. That's why I was like, "Oh, you could breathe. It's over." And you're like, "No, it's not." And I was like, "Oh my God, you're right. It goes back and forth." Carm says that's good publicity though, Leanne. Well, yeah, but Leanne says it's not worth it. It's like with fame, like it's not worth it. Colonel wants a subpoena, and she's like, "Girl, it's not worth it. It's not worth the."
No, it's really not worth it, honestly. I mean,
Um,
we discussed this, didn't we? I am going to absolutely be making some merchandise out of this because why
yes,
not?
the motion to squash. I really want. I said I want a motion to squash, teacher, and then we said the spaghetti one, the wish list one. There was a bunch of cool little quotes in there to make merch out of.
Yeah,
Laura.
and don't forget my defective subpoena.
Oh, spam subpoena.
Like it's like a coin, like a rare coin that's got like a misprint or something. Suddenly that's worth 10 times as much as like one that doesn't have a misprint. So I'm going to be doing something with the fact that my subpoena had a misprint as well.
Yeah, just have like the smudge on a shirt. That'd be so funny.
The missing one. Blake Lively's lawyer dropped one.
Yep. But you know what? Because it was so clear on Fritz's filing, I'm wondering if that was like a Twitter or Google thing when they like scan it or
Well, do
something.
you know what I think so, right? And do you want to hear something absolutely hilarious? Just a bit of tea here that I've not told anyone.
Yes. Ooh, I love when you drop new tea on my channel.
I know, I always come to your channel with tea.
With something new, yeah.
Right, so I emailed, because I've got X Premium, right? And you'd think I would get access if I messaged and said, by the way, I need help. You'd think I'd get help because I'm paying for the service. No. So on Friday, at the same time as emailing Ezra Hudson, like, what is this? I also emailed Axe and said, hi, I think I've been subpoenaed for my details and I'm looking for advice. I got a message yesterday, which was, hi there, can you try the following steps and see if that resolves your issue? Make sure you are using the latest device's operating system. Make sure the X update is updated. And basically, it was doing tech support, like, like I was having a glitch or something. It did not address anything to do with the subpoena whatsoever. It's like, try logging out your account, clear cache and cookies, turn off your browser add-ons. Like, what the hell? How is this helping me?
Oh, that is hilarious. So it's like, oh, it's just a bot response, and you're not really listening to
Oh,
what
yeah. So
I'm.
Blake Lively's looking for bots. So there's one here.
It says
Not
Miley.
me.
They want to meet and confer. They didn't want to with Perez, but you know what? I was joking with her. I was like, "Ooh, chat was like, saying your filing was so good." I was like, what if they want to meet and confer because they're gonna squash all this
Oh,
and you like
yeah, I
up?"
know I've got a response to that. Shall I give that? Because I told you what was happening with that. No, I didn't tell you. I think it was Ludwig I was telling. I've actually got a response for why I think they don't want to meet and compare at the moment with Perez. Shall I? Do you want me to hear that?
Yes, of course.
So,
All the tea.
and it's nothing special. It's just he's got the personal subpoena, not just a generic, sort of third party of a third party. And what he needs to do, and if he wants to get in touch, like I can go through the subpoena and try and help him to understand it and what kind of things he might need to do. But he's got to respond with the objections in writing, and then you have the meet and confer. They need the objections in writing because then obviously, as you've seen it before with various interrogatory responses and various things in this filing, they bring in like all the objections. So he's got to respond in writing, and then they should meet and confer because Judge Lyman will be pissed off if they don't attempt to resolve it without, putting shit on their docket. Sorry, putting stuff on their docket or bothering him, which is absolutely fair because he's got hundreds of other cases as well. It's not just this case, and
Well, that makes sense.
so all Perez needs to do is just state the reasons for each request, or why he objects to them, what privileges is he asserting, or is it vague, is it broad, is it this, is that? And like say, if he does want to send me a message or something, I'm quite happy to try and help him to put some kind of response there. But he's got to go through the written bit first.
He actually commented on our last episode of Subpoena Serena that we did. He put XOXO like Gossip Girl. So you might be watching, Perez. If you're watching, hit up Leanne.
Yeah, honestly,
she's a 10 out of 10 according to chat said 9.2 out of 10, but that was because of the emotional part. But then he was like, let her cook. Like the emotional part was okay. So, but I'll take it. I mean, it was close to a perfect 10. So Perez, hit up Leanne if you're listening. I love this one right here. Leanne, they smeared you on paper, literally. And then here's one for Laura to write down on the merch list, metadata merch. I found the metadata.
Yeah, I am going to be doing a metadata one as well. Why not? No, I wasn't going to, but I'm here now when, it's becoming a bit of a brand, actually. We're building a bit of a brand, so.
Yeah, so on this article real quick, all I wanted to highlight was the fact that they brought Elaine from the Amber Heard. Where is it? They brought Elaine back from the Amber Heard trial to talk, and I'm just like, you don't want to be connected to these people. She lost. You know what I mean? Like, don't be getting a quote from. I mean, I'm just saying, a Variety put this out because I have this feeling that because Daily Mail put out the Cassidy, because it was like 2 hours apart. Daily Mail put out an article. Go check out and support Josh Boswell. It is behind a paywall, but I do encourage a Premium Plus subscription because they've been really good on reporting on the Baldoni stuff. They haven't been like super pro Blake or anything like that. So go support them because Josh Boswell has been doing a great job. So he did an article on Cassidy, which was one of the other creators that got subpoenaed. And then this came out 2 hours later. But yeah, it says Elaine says they basically annihilated her. I think it's great that Blake Lively's legal team is trying to get in front of it. How else do you fight this? So she's basically saying, I think it's great that she's subpoenaing private citizens for their phone numbers and bank accounts.
Yeah, with no evidence and all that. And do you know what? She's sitting there going, "Oh well, they did it to Amber Heard." I've seen no evidence of that either.
Elaine,
Honestly, I think for a lawyer, that woman is just
Elaine.
she's doing more harm to the female cause. That's all I'm going to say. I don't like her. I think she did a terrible job. She's 70% of the reason her client lost the case, because
People
that
didn't
case
like
should have been easily winnable. It was for Amber Heard to lose. All she had to do was prove that she felt abused. She literally had to prove nothing more than that. And between the way Elaine litigated it and the way Amber testified, it was just, and the experts. Let's give a shout out to Dr. Spiegel, but
Yes,
it was just a complete.
tongue. Like, what was that? What was he doing with the tongue? Oh my god, the smacking. It's
Oh my
crazy.
god, I know.
But yeah, I think that's why Maureen Comey in the Diddy trial, I think that was also like, I feel like she was part of the reason why they didn't like, I mean, and I know that the jury should just literally just go by facts, but what I heard coming out of the courtroom was that her voice was like really sing-songy and that she wasn't like trying to connect with the jury and stuff. So sometimes if you get a lawyer that that can't connect with the jury, it doesn't matter if the law's on your side or not. It's just like a right away law. So TV and Movie Addict is saying that Pop Diaries just found out that they had been subpoenaed by Blake Lively. And then DFJ over here in the comments is saying that there's not even an email to contact at TikTok. So she was part of the TikTok 7. So there
Yeah,
you go. I didn't know Pop Diaries was part of the TikTok 7. So it's
if it
basically
helps, there has been no response from X either. Equally as diabolical.
this is the response from X. So you say you got a subpoena, yes? Please try cleaning your cache.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I should screenshot the message and just put it. I should, because it's ridiculous.
Perez doesn't want to seek legal counsel because it is expensive, and you know, he wants to go pro se because he wants to fight it. A lot of people want to fight it because they want to use their own voice. They want to go head to head. They don't want to
I
put it in the hands of a lawyer. They want to go head to head, using their voice, and like it's I don't know. To me, that's
and
a
I,
little bit that's impressive that people want to handle it on their own. Um, Using their own voice. I mean, I know that they always say, like, you should have a lawyer and stuff like that, but, um, a lot of people have been saying, even lawyers have been saying at this motion to quash stage, maybe not.
I mean, I will say I don't think that this needs at this point anyway. I think everyone could try without paying legal costs. I really do. I understand the reasons why some people have engaged lawyers, but I think well, we've got a template. I'll say this for anyone who's just finding out they've been subpoenaed, doesn't know what to do. Myself, Cassidy, Lauren, and Ashley, we kind of work together. We have templates for American citizens, for Canadian citizens, and for British citizens now. So if anyone is affected, and we can look up other jurisdictions if another country. But if anyone is affected, we already have templates that can be personalized, but the law is already there. And if they want to get in touch with us, we will help them.
Awesome. So if anybody's watching and you're part of the TikTok 7, the Sweet 16 the Google Sweet 16, or everybody loves the name. So DFJ, thanks for providing names. What's the X20? The
Yeah,
Twitter
yeah,
20. They went Twitter with it, so we're just gonna stick with the Twitter 20.
yeah.
Because everybody still calls it Twitter. Let's just finish up the show really quick with YouTube fan fights back. If you guys are not following Justice for Baldoni, I forget what her actual tag is, but this website is so cool because it literally puts up all the dockets. I'm sure once Leanne's filing hits, it'll be here. Um, And I just love the brief docket format that, how to get legal news that way. I love it. I love the Diddy docket. The OVO docket is the Drake UMG trial. And I just love having like a one-stop shop to go to. Obviously, you can go into Court Listener, but Court Listener's been annoying because I got to go to page 3. So I'm like, click, click. I try to even just save page 3 under the bookmarks, but it'll still take me to page 1. And so now that it's like, all convoluted. I mean, it's a great way to get the legal docs, but this is perfect. So she wrote about the YouTube fan fights back Blake Lively's lawsuit challenged as unconstitutional censorship and explosive court motion. So it seems like a fan of Popcorn Planet filed a motion to intervene on his behalf because he says he spends a lot of money on these shows and that he doesn't want his money going to like having to fight like legal stuff, and that it basically he's saying it's retaliation against truthful public speech. But he says, he has a skin in the game because he donates to these, he does super chats and stuff like that. So you guys can go and read the entire motion there if y'all want to. But Andy from Popcorn Planet actually came out and said that he does not encourage this, that, we should let the parties and stuff who are in the case take care of it. And while he said he appreciated, he said he didn't encourage it. So yeah, if y'all want to go read that filing, go and read that. And then we're going to end with this. I don't have a song today.
Can I just quickly also say as well, if people are looking for articles from the Daily Mail, there's myself and Ludwig. Ludwig's is it Ludwig the sniffing tea? No, it's the sniffing dog, or Ludwig sniffs tea.
Yeah.
Ludwig, right? Everyone knows Ludwig. We're British, so we can actually get past the paywalls. But I mean, I'm not saying don't go and support Josh Boswell, although he doesn't get the money directly. But yeah, we can get hold of the Daily Mail articles without having to pay because we're British.
Oh, okay. Well, hit up Leanne for the article if you really want to read it and you don't want to pay. Is it like $1.99 or something? How much is the premium? I don't remember how much it is. But
I'm not sure what it is.
Good tip. Yeah, there's VPN and there's also archive.is, which is anything that goes on the internet. It's archived, so you can always go into archive.is and find anything there. But
I'm just being sent to go and look at a question as well. So where is it?
What's the question?
Is it Lyman who has the final say if it goes to court? If what goes to court?
Someone said,
oh, yeah. Someone has commented on a video saying Blake's team have the final say. I'm assuming they're wondering if Blake Lively can withdraw her claims, and the answer is she could in theory. She can't just do it like Wayfarer can say no and say, well, hold on, we've invested a lot, there's been a lot of discovery, etc., etc. She shouldn't just get to withdraw her claims. So there is that. But then it would go to Lyman in theory to kind of make a decision.
But I don't know, just doing what you meant, but I know that when the reply, they do get the last reply as well in the the back and forth.
Yeah.
So it's like they get
it's usually
or do you get the last one? Because it's you file the motion to quash, then they respond, and then you get to file your reply, and then that's it, right? Is it 3? Is it 2? Did you cut off, Leanne? Are you muted? What happened? Where's Leanne? Leanne.
Oh, sorry, I'm here. So you get to file the motion, then you get to the opposition gets to oppose or respond a similar length, like it's quite a lengthy response. But then the original people who file get a short reply to kind of. Usually, it's just restating, the summary of their original argument. But if something new comes up in the opposition, they can address that as well.
And then it goes to Judge Lehman once all those 3 are done. That's when he looks at it and makes a decision. Or do you think he's going to do it all as a whole since it's a bunch of y'all? Is he going to wait till everybody comes in? Is this going to be 1 year later? SpongeBob?
Wow, you're all taking the mickey out of me.
I mean, How does it work? I mean, he might, right? He might just wait until all of them are in, or
He can do whatever he wants. This is it. There is no set rules on when he replies to anything, or makes decisions. It's his court. When he comes to these cases, he sets his own rules. I mean, there are rules of what he can and can't do, but there's no like he has to reply within these time frames. He's got so many other cases, and he's got they'll all be filing various things, or even proceeding to trial. And there'll be a lot of cases that'll be prioritized because they've got upcoming trials or emergency hearings and things like that. So he's balancing it all, and everything that goes in from all his cases, it will be kind of triage of importance. So a lot of people say, "Oh, he's taking his time." He's not. He's really not. It's just there was no need. Like, he's still not ruled on the Stephanie Jones motion to dismiss. There's no need at the moment. So he'll get to that when he wants to, but that was a long-winded response. But yeah, he sets he deals with it as he deals with it. But as we saw with the motion to dismiss for both the Lively and Reynolds parties and with Jed Wallace, they're not short documents. He's going through a lot of stuff to make the decision, and he's looking at the law as well. It's a really complex process.
yeah. Yeah, it is, and we've seen that with all the other stuff because look how long it took for the decisions on the MTD, the for Baldoni's case. It's yeah, and Nag was saying as well that it could take sometimes a while for decisions. Like she was talking about her husband sometimes. That's why I said 1 year later. I mean, I doubt it'll take a year, but I'm just saying she was telling some horror stories about like her husband having to wait for like 2 years on a decision, like just being
Um,
dragged out.
yeah, it can take a
So
long time.
we're
And,
gonna
and it's the same over here as well. It's not that's not unique to the American court system. Over here, judges are sitting on various rulings and things for months, sometimes more than a year.
yeah, Shushwada just noticed the ticker. Yeah, I'm not trying to get a subpoena here. Like I'm like, seriously, please don't sue me for
I
entertainment
got your
purposes.
back if you do, though.
Yes, definitely, Leanne. I'm lucky that my bestie is very legally savvy and ChatGPT agrees. We get the cosign. But I don't have a song for y'all tonight or today for the outro. I didn't queue one up and I don't know if I'm out of music. I gotta go look at Kenny's playlist. But I'm just gonna end it with this comment. Imagine Blake Lively dragging TikTokers to court. That's just cringe, sis. There's a part in life where you either cut your losses, I don't even know if I can say this, or wind up testifying how you're I can't read it.
Mm.
It's like I'm those type of comedians that laughs before they can get the joke out. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Testifying how you sorry, how your dog stepped on a bee and produced a turd weighing 80% of
I need a link to that.
I can't. Okay, hold on. And produced a turd weighing 80% of its body mass. And so we all know that's Debt Heard trial, and that is what ended up like also tanking it. Yes, it was Elaine. Yes, it was a Spiegel. What was his name?
Dr.
Um,
Spiegel, yeah.
Dr. Spiegel, but it was also you crack yourself up. I know. Sorry, it was just like I kept remembering like in my head what it went, and then they have the picture of the turd on the bed and stuff, and so like it was just the
And you
visual.
know what happened from that, right? Honest to God, this is one of the biggest missteps I've ever seen a lawyer make, right? Is bringing in social media expert. Amber Heard did this, brought in a social media expert to talk about the hashtags and various things.
Mhm.
And Wayne Dennison, right, who was he was like not one of the forefront lawyers in the case, but he was the one who dealt with all the experts, and he was just amazing. He was so underrated, and he
She said,
stepped up, and he managed to get. And bear in mind, this is on the transcribe. This is on court records now forever. It was about 20 minutes of getting Amber Turd written into the court record, just over and over and over again. And I was looking at her lawyers, and there was nothing they could do to stop this. And she's paying for that.
Yeah, and the court reporter has to keep writing this down. Like,
Amber Turd. It just went on for 20 minutes. Honest to God, it was hilarious.
it was like you're literally demeaning your client to the jury in real time. It's crazy. I made it bigger because I love Jen's like all I heard was giggling and then enlarged her. Sorry. There it is, bigger for y'all to read it because I couldn't get past it. But it was just it's crazy because was it all worth it in the end for to go through that? Even if let's just say devil's advocate that it was, Amber had, the law on her side and she was right and this was blah blah blah. Was it worth it to go down that rabbit hole? And that's why I'm saying that the people around her circle, and the same thing with Blake, they're advising them wrong because it's like, okay, yes, have a voice or whatever, but I don't agree with the having a voice thing because look, if Amber Heard really wanted to be the voice of all women, she could do it from Spain. She could.
Yeah.
She could do it from Spain. She could be doing stuff. And the same thing with Blake. I haven't seen anything like people were like, well, can she come back from this or whatever? And I'm like, but she hasn't made the steps to like try and like endear herself to the public again. I mean, if Diddy could endear himself to some people, because I know a lot of people went in hating Diddy in the trial, and obviously I'm not condoning his behavior. It was monstrous behavior. But by the end of the trial, my theory was that he was just a drug addict and that's what caused him to act like a monster. Not that he was like just some psychopath, because it seemed like everybody who testified were like, he was a great guy, he was a mentor, this and that. They had nothing but nice things to say about him when he was sober. And so that was my conclusion. I went in there thinking like, dude, he's a monster, da da da. And I came out of it being like, oh, he was just a drug addict who like literally was, beating on his girlfriends and stuff when he was under the influence. And so I'm like, if Diddy could make, a little bit of a comeback, because, I didn't even think there'd be fans still like waiting for him outside of the courtroom and stuff, because the allegations against him were incredibly like just ugly and, like who could support that, right? So I'm like, if he can do it, why can't Blake Lively do it? But it's like she's not making any steps to try to I know we were talking about like, Diddy was going into rehab and taking domestic violence classes, and at least, maybe it's to lessen his sentence or whatever, but it's like, how we were talking about rehabilitation, like where's Blake Lively's rehabilitation steps? I'm not seeing that. You know what I mean? Showing the public outwardly, oh, now Perez is nicknaming himself Elle Woods. I have to see his latest video. I haven't seen it.
He's so dramatic, isn't he?
Yeah, I love the faces. And then yesterday when or in the Subpoena Serena, if y'all haven't seen that episode, it's a good one. It's in the videos, or lives. I think it was 2 days ago. I remember I kept pausing it and it was his faces. That was hilarious. But yeah, I wish Blake Lively would do more like, to not be doing get readies with me in the toilets with the toilet seat up eating a burrito. Like that to me is not it's not helping her at all. And that's what I felt like with Amber Heard. It was like her own actions were not helping her at all. So it's almost the same, but I feel like with Amber, I do have some like at least she moved to Spain and like kept quiet and stuff and was like, okay, I'm just gonna go live my life with my child and be unproblematic. Whereas Blake just wants to be in our face, because her husband makes enough money to where she could just be a stay-at-home mom for a little bit, let it blow over. You know what I mean?
I do.
Blake would have to take accountability.
Yeah.
Diddy supporters paid that was very deep. I don't know what Laura meant by that, but Boo Boo Burrito. Oh my God, y'all and the nicknames. Her PR team does hate her. I don't know. I just feel like I have so many ideas of like how she could turn it around. I'm doing like a little video that I'm gonna post to shorts of the Get Ready With Me, and it's basically stitched with like other people who have done like domestic violence makeovers. Like, have y'all heard of that? Like where they'll go to victims of domestic violence and give them like makeovers or like a photo shoot to make them like empower them. Because I feel like that's what she should do. She's got the products, the Blake Brown products. Instead of hairspraying influencers' hair, I feel like, I mean, some people might say, oh, it's just posture, and like she's just doing it for like to that it's fake or whatever, that it's fake philanthropy. But at least, I don't know, I feel like it would work on me. I would be like, oh, okay, like, she is the voice for women, and like she's using Blake Brown on these. At least she's helping, And I know DFJ, she feels strongly like, no, don't have her anywhere near people that she can influence. Like, drop off the hair products and cut the check. That's what DFJ was saying. She's like, you don't want her anywhere near vulnerable people.
No. No, you don't. I agree with that. She'd be the last person I want to be near.
Yeah, she would have to take accountability. All right, y'all. I think that's it for the show. I appreciate everybody who showed up. We had a really, really good crowd. Leanne, I appreciate you anytime you show up because this girl gets very little sleep. We were on for 3 hours yesterday. And then you had gotten that email from Manat, right?
Yeah.
So are you still going to deal with that today? What's your plans for today? Are you streaming?
I'm probably not going to stream today because I've done a couple and I've just done the recording as well of the reading as well.
Laura, if you can link Leanne's channel. Everybody head over there for the motion to quash. And then the new recording should be up today. Anything else?
It's already up. The short. So if you just want to hear the motion itself, it's got the video's got the same thumbnail, but the shorter one has got the shorter version in oh god, what are they called? Brackets, square brackets. Okay. So you just look for that, but and that will cut out. But I mean, if you really want something, it was such a laugh. There was a lot of entertainment last night. It was really buzzy, wasn't it? It was so fun. The only thing was missing was we needed CJ to do a rap whilst my internet was down, but next time.
I know everybody was requesting it, and so Laura's like, we need to have a plan for when stuff, like when it goes down again. And I'm like, is the plan going to be me rapping? Like, should I write something? Should I do the blackout rap?
Write something. Have it standby, like some jokes or something.
Everybody found out I was a rapper, and then Laura's like, she's really good. I'm like, okay. And then everyone's like, just do like a little freestyle. I'm like, okay, now Laura hyped me up. Like, I can't. Like, she literally was like, you're really good.
But you are really good, but you surprised me.
She's the hype man. So I'm gonna have to run my rap through ChatGPT and see what he says, because y'all are my friends. We're gonna have to run it through. Yeah, make sure that you guys subscribe to Leanne over there. We're always on each other's channels and stuff, and we'll see y'all tomorrow morning for the recap of all the cases. There's some really good ones, y'all. Brian Friedman's case with FKA Twigs had a big update. We have Donald Trump suing the Wall Street Journal. We have a lot of like good celebrity gossip of just like these little tiny cases that we don't need deep dives in. So tomorrow is the recap show.
Sorry, can I make one request as well, if everyone can do it? If everyone could share, even if it's just a link to the shorter version of the motion to quash video, I would be grateful, because I really kind of want to get that heard and shared wide. And if just sort of let people put something out, sort of say, if anyone comes across anyone who another content creator who has found out they've had a subpoena and they don't know what to do, please do send them our way as well, because we're happy to give them some advice or actually help them to put something together as well. So yeah, that's it for me, I think, because the deadlines are getting quite close for that, so they're running out of time.
Yeah, and there's the link to the actual video, so if y'all want to share that on your socials or anything like that, let's get the word out on that, and it should hit the docket here soon as well. But yeah, the live reading is, please copy that link and share. Yes, there's the link. I'm going to link it to the bottom of this show so people can go to it. And again, we appreciate, DFJ's behind on the feed. She's like, I love that you remember I said that. Drop off the products, but don't like blatantly or anyone or an animal. Because my other rebranding was equestrian. I'm like, she should just like drop the booze, drop the hair products, and make like equestrian wear. And then, she's around horses and her kids do horses, and she could do like the whole like, mother-daughter horse thing and do it with her kids. And then DFJ was like, no, don't bring around any vulnerable animals.
Call an animal to cruelty. No, come on, she's already getting a reputation for, metaphorically clubbing seals.
Metaphorically clubbing seals, I know.
Killing flies with a sledgehammer.
She'll turn them to glue. No, y'all. I don't know. I was just like literally one night I couldn't fall asleep and I'm sitting here like I'm Blake's PR and like, why am I trying to help the show? But I was like, how would I rebrand? And I was like, equestrian.
That's such.
1 a.m.
I
thought.
think you see that comment from Marie. That's such a great one. Animals can sense evil.
Yeah, they can. No children or no animals, y'all. Okay. Again, for entertainment purposes, allegedly, like seriously, please don't sue
I know,
me.
but also we saw what they did to their own child.
Yes, no, for sure. For sure.
You don't want to hear an animal like a horse being made to say things they don't want to say.
or said they're gonna be recasted in the video, in the commercial,
Yeah.
equestrian wear commercial.
Plus, the horse won't get on with her dragons.
Oh, they won't. You're right. It's gonna be a conflict. Her child should file a CRD complaint. All right, y'all. We're doing the whole like we're saying bye and then we restart again. But yeah, I want to go because I am gonna try and maybe go live here in maybe 30 minutes for the Brian Koberger trial. I'm just gonna be streaming it and having the chat if anybody needs support. I'm not sure if I'm gonna come right on it when it starts or if I'm gonna come on a little bit later. But if you don't tune in for the live stream, definitely tune in tonight to catch me and DFJ. It's 8 p.m. Eastern, and we will be recapping everything that happened today. It may go over into tomorrow because DFJ told me yesterday that because the victim impact statements, they don't have a time limit. Someone could talk up there for 2 hours or 3 hours, so it might go into tomorrow. So we're just going to discuss and break it all down tonight. On the show, 8 p.m. Eastern, Objection Crime Chatter. If not, we'll see you all tomorrow for the Celebrity Court Chatter. Y'all have a great day, and make sure to like and subscribe, and appreciate y'all. Take care.
You too. Bye.